for us and surprises for us later on, and for putting the easel up so that we could write the name of our mother. If anyone didn't get a chance to write your mother's name on the easel, please do so on the way out. We may keep it up another week. It was very fun and meaningful for me to write my mother's name, Elvina. She would be embarrassed for that, I told you that, but an unusual name, but she was Mom. Today we honor all mothers, and we once again thank the Men of Unity for helping us to celebrate today. We honor the divine feminine in all of us, and that includes the men, for that creative nature flows in and through each of us. I think that's why we're so touched when we hear that song and when we feel her presence. She's a part of us. You know, it takes great courage and stamina to be a mother, doesn't it? And it also takes a good sense of humor. Would you agree? I think if I didn't have a sense of humor, I would never have made it. But my favorite cartoon is a picture of a woman who said, "I opened my mouth and my mother came out." Anybody ever had that happen? How many here have opened your mouth and your mother came out? I know. I'm embarrassed. I had a few examples. I went online and found top 8 things my mother taught me. See if any of these things came out of your mouth. My mother taught me religion. She said, "You better pray, that'll come out of the carpet." My mother taught me logic. Because I said so, that's why. My mother taught me foresight. Make sure you wear clean underwear in case you get in an accident. My mother taught me about the circle of life. I brought you into this world, I can take you out. My mother taught me about behavior modification. Stop acting like your father. My mother taught me about anticipation. Just wait till we get home. My mother taught me about roots. Shut the door behind you. What, were you born in a barn? I got that one a lot. But this final one is all about justice. My mother taught me justice. And this is the mother's curse. Some of you will know what the mother's curse is, because it came out of your mouth as you passed it on to your children. One of these days you'll have kids and they'll turn out to be just like you. Oh, we all relate to that one. That's a good one to close that on. Metaphysically, the mother is so much. Metaphysically, the mother is the feminine, creative nature in all of us. Starting from the book of Genesis, we're told, God created humankind in his image, male and female, he created them. Because both are part of the creative process. And all men have the mother principle, and all women have the father principle as well. The father principle is that realm of the formless, the realm of divine ideas. And the mother then receives those ideas and births them onto the earth plane, on earth as it is in heaven. So the father, the mother work together to create. Our thoughts are prayers, and our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying, right? And all those thoughts were manifesting from the father to the mother onto the manifest plane. Now, the ancients looked around and saw that creation was constantly birthing nature. And so they called God Mother. And they saw her everywhere. They saw her giving life all over the world. In the Mists of Avalon, most of you know the Mists of Avalon, the feminine version of King Arthur. King Arthur says, "I think the goddess lives in our humanity and not anywhere else. The Mother Earth, the manifest realm, is where the mother lives. And we can feel her, sense her." I sat on the front porch yesterday. I saw her in the mountain, in the trees. I smelt her in the flowers. Or have you ever smelled fresh pine needles? Is there anything more wonderful? I heard her in the sound of the birds, and I felt her in the wind. She's here with us in the manifest earth plane. And we experience her creativity through music, dance, literature, art. In the beat of a drum and chanting, her creative nature flows through this manifest world. And I've also experienced her as very joyous and loving and peaceful. You know, among many shamanic cultures, if you go to a shaman, which is their version of a doctor, and explain about your physical health or your mental health not being quite up to par, they'll ask you 4 questions. When did you stop dancing? Oops. When did you stop singing? When did you give up loving stories? And when did you stop finding peace in the space of sweet silence? And I would add to that, when did you disconnect from Divine Mother? When did you lose that connection? The Divine Mother is very real to me, that creative, nurturing, joyous nature that's all around us. But when the patriarchal era took over, the worship of the mother was condemned. God was no longer mother, but now father. And God became a separate man in the sky, away from us, no longer with us in our humanity. Something was lost when that happened. And any extreme is out of balance. I mean, some feminists want to just have the goddess and not the God. It has to be a balance of both. Technology with heart. Progress with compassion. Power balanced with mercy, not greed. The balance has to be there on both the father and the mother, or we're out of balance. It's important to remember, even at our age here in Green Valley, that no matter what our circumstances, no matter what age we are, no matter what life has brought us, we have the power to create a new life, to create a change. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said, "This goes on perpetually, and there's never a beginning or an end to our process of life. The ideal is continuously pouring itself into its creation," that's the Father, "and lifting it higher and higher as we open like the Mother to receive it. We are constantly lifted higher. Those divine ideas are our potential, and though we manifest them as human ideas in a limited way, we can express them higher and higher, no matter where we are in our life path." Last Monday, the Daily Word said, "I have physical identity, but more than that, I am a spiritual being with limitless opportunities before me. I say yes to moving beyond my comfort zones and to discover and express my talents and abilities. I am guided and supported by my divine nature." And that's the Mother, always there to keep nurturing that creativity in many different ways. Do you ever wonder why some people are more creative than others? I always get a little bit jealous of really creative people, because I feel like when God was handing out creativity, I was back eating lunch. But I know Michael, I see his family where he grew up with his mother, and the whole family is creative. They all play musical instruments, and it seemed like they could do anything creative. His mother used to invite all the neighborhood kids to her house. For one reason, she could keep an eye on them all, but also she would give them projects, creative projects, art projects. And when Michael goes back to Tennessee, the neighbors still talk about growing up and going to his mother's house for that fun. Now, my own mother was a very hardworking farmer's wife. Arts and crafts never entered her mind. Who had time for that? She lived a life of selfless giving to her family. Her garden was her creative outlet. Her cooking and her canning was her creative outlet. Nobody made pickles like my mother. I have not had a good dill pickle since she quit canning. Her sewing was her creative outlet. Anybody here grow up with flour sack pajamas? There's nothing quite like the feel of flour sack pajamas till they've been washed a few times. I went to sister school, you know, where I had the nuns. They were kind of like mothers, and I was very fortunate to have the Franciscan nuns. They were very kind and nurturing nuns. They still told us we were going to burn in hell forever, but they were very kind and nurturing. But they encouraged us with creative projects. And I remember Sister Roger one day, she had us all stand up and hold our artwork up. And oh, I was so embarrassed because I looked around the room and everybody's art seemed to look good, and mine looked so bad. That was just one area I was never good in. But then a year or two later, I had Sister Robard, and she asked me to make a Thanksgiving pilgrim for the bulletin board. And I pleaded with her, no, please, I cannot draw. I am not good with art. And you know, she's very stubborn, like a lot of people can be, and she insisted and supported me and had faith in me that I could make a pilgrim for the bulletin board. So finally I gave in, and I did. And you know what? That pilgrim wasn't half bad. I'm not saying it was great, but it wasn't half bad. And I began to see, you know what? I've got creativity in me too. Maybe it won't express itself in art, but I can write, I can teach, I can do many other things. The Divine Mother is part of that creative process. And in Unity, one of the first things we learn in school is the metaphysical trinity: mind, idea, and expression. That's the metaphysical trinity. Our mind receives divine ideas and manifests them on earth as it is in heaven, in the realm of divine ideas. And every day, we're constantly manifesting whatever we hold in mind. Oops. Whatever we hold in mind is constant. We either tear our lives up or tear them down, build them up or tear them down. Our thoughts are prayers. And consciously or unconsciously, we're manifesting them on earth as it is in heaven. Now, the Divine Mother is a universal archetype. In Egypt, they called her Isis. The Buddhists honor Kuan Yin. The Hopi call her Crow Mother. The Southwest has Lady of Guadalupe. Don't you love the Lady of Guadalupe? And Christians have Mary, Mother Mary. Metaphysically, though, she is our soul, our heart, our intuitive nature. Where the Father is the spirit, the mind, the intellect. The Mother is the soul, the heart, the intuitive nature, guiding us forward on our journey. Charles Fillmore called the Holy Spirit she. Many people call the Holy Spirit she. She who comforts and nurtures us and guides us. And ultimately, she calls us back home, back to your spirit. Like a mother saying, it's time to come home now. Be the spiritual self, no longer the human self. Today we honor the Divine Mother. Joanne Napier wrote this for her mother, Joan. But I read it today for all the mothers that are here today and all the men, for the Divine Mother is in you too. So many times the gifts the mother gives to her children go unrecognized. I guess that's why Mother's Day is the holiday that it is. We don't say enough how grateful we are for the love and the sacrifices a mother makes. A very wise mother once said, I cannot promise you that I will be with you for the rest of your life, but I promise you that I will love you for the rest of mine. The assurance a child needs at any age to be courageous and to begin to follow her or his own dreams, knowing that he or she is being carried in the tender arms of a mother who loves her or him. So to all the mothers in the world today, thank you from your children, whatever age they might be, for being and giving your all to us. Let us take that into prayer as we once again honor the Divine Mother in whatever shape or form or image you have of her, whether it's Mother Nature itself and the beauty all around us, whether it's in your Earth Mother and the joy that she was to you, whether it's in an image of Divine Mother from any culture, any religion, any form. Today we honor the Divine Mother, that love and comfort, that intuitive guidance, the voice that draws us home back to our spiritual nature. We bless you, we honor you, we love you, and we do affirm this in the nature of the Christ, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in singing Give Yourself to